In the previous episode, we made the most of a beautiful day in the mountains of South Africa as we took 3 insanely accurate PCP airguns and put them to the ultimate test shooting rock harricks in the steep cliffs of the Baviaanskloof. We saw quite a few furballs trying their luck at base jumping with no parachutes opening up on the way down, and to make the day even better, we managed to drop a few vervet monkeys with a little impact to put the cherry on top. Today the goal is to repeat the efforts of yesterday, but to really prioritize monkeys and baboons. Let's be honest, this is what we're all here for, right? So let's get to it as we start off the morning at camp with the birds chirping and the coffee brewing. Welcome to the beautiful Baviaanskloof, where we are parked off in a remote valley surrounded by cliffs, mountains, birds, baboons, everything you can imagine. And we are just busy making some coffee. It's just gone 6:30. We're going to get some coffee in our system, do a very quick pack up, and the goal this morning is to head out the valley and into the more open areas just before 8 o'clock. As the sun starts to hit the trees, that's when the monkeys like to come up and sit at the top of the trees. So we've got a bit of a plan today, trying to execute it, and hopefully everything runs smoothly. Well, I don't think we could have wished for better weather this morning. The sun is out, which means I'm sure the monkeys will be climbing up to the top of the trees. Now, while it's still cool in the mornings, they want to heat up. And secondly, there's absolutely no felt wind right now. It might pick up a bit later, like it did yesterday. I think it probably rose to about 3 to 5 miles an hour, but that is still manageable. So, went for another cracker of a day. We always seem to time this perfectly, and fingers crossed that we can get some with a 260 early this morning. We make a pit stop at the farmhouse to pick up our guard Yaku, and then it's straight down to business. Despite being surrounded by a huge wilderness area, this is a working farm at the core, and with the crops essentially providing free food to all the wild animals, there is no shortage of mischievous monkeys, always looking to raid whatever they can. Vervet monkeys can be hunted all year round in my province with no bag limit, and we're looking to take advantage of that as we move towards the thick bush where they like to hang about. You see they're walking in the back there. Maybe he'll sit there somewhere.
Oh, they just climbed up.
Yeah, okay, let's see what we can do. Yeah, 143. 5.1 more. That's a much easier spot. Let's try that one. I think I might have just got my ranges wrong. We're having quite a tough time getting the ranges correct on these monkeys, and with another property in the distance, we don't want to use any of the centerfires. We've come up to a elevated viewpoint here where we can see the whole valley below us and all these trees that have just been lit up by the sun. We've spotted a few monkeys, but unfortunately they've just been in kind of awkward positions where we know there's other farmhouses in the background. So obviously being aware of your backstop is extremely important. So we opted not to take those shots. Got up here, we've been glassing around, and just all the monkeys are hiding from us. So no luck here, but we'll hop back in the truck, move it to a different position, and see if we can find something else there. Thankfully, there's a huge area to cover and hundreds of monkeys hanging around. So our strategy is to just keep moving and see what we come across. The farmland here in the valley is surrounded by mountains, and in the mornings we often see baboons coming down the cliffs where they sleep to look for an easy snack. Just next door in the nature reserve there are thousands of baboons that never get shot at, but they also have to work for their food there. so they tend to hop across the farmland for easy takeaways every now and again, and the farmers have to put out traps to try and catch them in the act. Having wised up to the traps though, there's only one effective way to solve the problem, and that's with a bullet. Clapped him, I think.
Awesome.
311 meters. Very similar spot to last time round when we came here. Basically sitting in the rosemary plantation. Probably having some breakfast. But yeah, longer shot than last time. 311 meters. I made some turret tape on this rifle just to speed up the process. Normally what I'd do is in the rangefinder I'd have the ballistic profile and I'd get the elevation in mils, but that can take a second or two longer. So I handed the rangefinder to Yaku, told him to range for me. He spotted the baboon, ranged it, I dialed it in, hit record, and hopefully we got that nicely on camera, but I think he went straight down. I think we're gonna have to head out there and take a look. Awesome. That's the smell of success right there. Yeah. So we were on the opposite side of this rosemary field here, basically where those mountains are behind me there in the shade, and the baboon was somewhere right over here by this pile of dead wood. Looked at the footage, definitely hit him, and he fell into this green bush over here, but this bush is so thick we're going to struggle to get through here, and there's a steep drop off on the other side, so we're just trying to find a way around to try and approach it from the other side. But there's a chance that we're not going to be able to recover him. It's just rough. Yeah, lots of thorns and thick bush. We'll do our best, but I'm pretty confident I hit him. The search was interrupted by the appearance of some monkeys in the bushes, and I set up quickly to try and take one out.
Oh, okay, he's moving now. Oh. This shot wasn't great. He jumped down as I pulled the trigger and the shot hits pretty far back, but the 40 grain javelin does enough damage to put him down.
So let's talk a bit about my 260. This is a rifle you know very well, but I've made a few changes to it. I've obviously changed scopes quite a lot over the years. Currently I've got a Helix HDLR on top, which is the Helix high definition long range. It's got the same optical quality as the Titan, so it's got those apochromatic lenses, and it's got a Helix style elevation turret, capped windage, and then we are using 95 grain Hornady VMAXs in here. I specifically developed this load for stuff like this. 95 grain VMAX, you can do pretty much anything with it. You could even hunt game with it, although I wouldn't if I had the choice. But I'm pretty confident we got the baboon down. We'll check more of the footage, but yeah, in this thick stuff it's just going to be really hard to recover any animal, and I don't know anyone that eats baboon, so I don't think it's that important that we actually retrieve him and bring him back. Problem animal down. It's a good way to start the day, but we've got many hours left, so let's get back at it and see what we can do.
We still have so much ground to cover, so armed with a trusty 260, we move on to another spot, hoping to stumble upon some more monkeys. With a 260 capable of putting monkeys and baboons down at distance, we position ourselves on a hill and glass for movement. The primates don't come to the party unfortunately, but we do spot a crow on a dead tree quite a distance off and attempt a shot. Crows peck the eyes out of newborn lambs, so they aren't very popular amongst farmers here either. Unfortunately, this shot drops just low and the crow flies off. But we're not quite out of luck just yet, as we spot some movement on the cliffside, and it's guns out as a whole troop of monkeys begins to run the gauntlet across the rocks. Okay, 103 meters, 2.27 mils.
The challenge with monkeys is that they don't like to keep still, so you may range them in one spot, but if they dart off just a few meters away, your dope has to be recalculated. That's what happens here as this shot passes low and hits the inner shoulder. I hate wounding animals, and thankfully I get the opportunity to finish this one off with a solid vital shot.
He's down.
Yeah, he's dead, I think.
Yeah, there he's lying.
I make the switch to the impact, which I'm a little more familiar with than the Pantera, hoping it will help me adjust on the fly. The wind takes this one just off to the right and he gets away, but with the cliff face being as open as it is, there isn't much place to hide.
Bunch of monkeys, a whole troop of monkeys came wandering along this cliffside. I've been in situations like this before, mostly with the 260 and 22-250, and in fact in hindsight it might have been better to take the 260 out and just let rip. But anyway, we had the Pantera and the impact with us, so that's what we used. Missed quite a few shots, unfortunately. I think we could have got more, but anyway, switched back to the impact, which is the gun I feel a bit more, well, I've got more experience with, and boom, got a couple monkeys down. I think that's the best kind of monkey shot, is on a cliff, because you can actually watch it fall and everything. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It's not how we expected to get our first monkey of the day, but we got our first monkey of the day, and that's all that matters.
We move a little closer to the cliffside and set up again just in case another one pops out, but once we're sure they've moved on, we begin the retrieval mission.
So we're just going to go look for that monkey quickly. It should be, we shot it up on this ledge just up there, so it should be below here, but looks can be deceiving. Sometimes you think it's somewhere and it's not, so hopefully we can find him. Right, so a bit of a trek up the hill. We were down there in the valley, shot the monkey from up there. He fell down and he's pretty much where we expected him to be. So not only did we get a good shot, but we also managed to retrieve him, which is great. So this would have been a textbook vital shot. Obviously wanted to go for the head, but being unsure of my elevation and stuff, I might have held a bit low. In the shoulder there, I can feel his whole shoulders completely in pieces, like shattered bones and stuff, and then exit out this side. So that's exactly what you want. So the other monkey was somewhere up there, which means he's either still up there or he is down there. In other words, we're not going to get any more monkeys.
Well, when it rains it pours, and after taking so long to get our first monkeys down, we suddenly presented with another opportunity just around the corner, and this one is epic.
Dead. I smoked him. Absolutely smoked him. Right, so here's our monkey right over here. I just checked the scope cam footage, it's insane. Wasn't perfectly in focus, but absolutely blitzed him right in the front of the face somewhere. Looks like right there in the eye. and there's a nice big exit wound back of his head, and I can feel his skull is just, his skull is just completely mushed up. So we won't show too many close-ups of that. But Yaku explains that these monkeys actually, they sit in these bushes to feed on these little berries over here. So that's obviously what this guy was doing. Poked his head up, just saw the slug go through him and into this aloe stump over here. So now let's get that down. That, I'm going to guess that's about 65 meters, something like that. But obviously with the incline I didn't hold anything. In fact, I held like sort of middle of his face, so that if it was, the point of impact would be high, I'd hit it up here, below I'd hit him in the neck. I generally try to do that with monkeys, and as long as it's sort of in the center line over here, no matter where you get him, chest up, he's going to be dead. So another monkey down, and this is actually turning out to be an awesome day, considering, you know, the slow start this morning. Engage low range. Right, so this monkey was in a, you see it's a bit of a dry riverbed. When the river comes down in flood, it pours down here, and that's why you've got all these sort of rounded riverbed rocks here. But there is some standing water down in this valley, and so the monkeys like to come down here. This one was in a bush about 50 or 60 meters away, and got him in the head. So let's get another one down. So Yaku's family does actually run some accommodation options here as well. We'll talk about the camping options at a later stage, but these are old clay cottages that they've kind of refurbished and put new fittings in and fixed the walls up and stuff like that, and you can book these out as like self-catering cottages. Looking inside, got everything you need, and it's super peaceful here. You could stay up here, you've got a view across the whole valley. It's awesome. So I'll put a link down below. If you're ever coming through the Baviaanskloof, consider staying here. It really looks top notch.
We've got some awesome monkey and baboon footage today, and wanting to change things up a bit, Yaku takes us to a new spot that we haven't been to before, in the hope that we might see some Dassies. And sure enough, we're on them pretty quickly.
There's one here right here. Close.
Being in a valley where the wind funnels through, we're seeing quite a bit of wind drift on the steeper shots. This first one drifts into the jaw. Once again, I hate wounding animals, so it was a relief to be able to put in a solid follow-up.
Dassie is probably a little bit over 50 meters, but the incline here is so steep that I'm having to, it's getting the hold figured out is a little bit of a challenge. But there's a lot of Dassies here, so I'm going to take our time, hopefully get another one.
As you will have seen in the previous episode, it can be a big challenge to collect these Dassies when they're shot high on the cliffs, so it's always nice when they're thoughtful enough to jump off the cliffs for us and save us the effort.
Well, yesterday we had many, ooh, Dassie. Two. Ah, gone.
No, he's still there.
Okay, I was looking at a different one. Where is he?
In that crack. Maybe more stand here at the back of the bakkie.
Now that that is probably the most challenging shot I've taken in a long time. I was sitting here, offhanding it, well, yeah, literally sitting, which reminds me of shooting 10 meter when I was younger. It was very shaky, but man, I absolutely dropped him, so it turned out to be good. We had a really fruitful day yesterday shooting Dassies. We found some spots where there were plenty, took some really awesome shots with all 3 rifles, with the little impact, with the big boy impact, and with the Panthera, and had success with all of them. Today we've really been trying to go after monkeys and baboons, so managed to get a baboon earlier, and then it was really slow going on the monkeys. I think it was only about 11 o'clock when we got the first monkey, and from there we've actually had some decent success with the monkeys. We've got quite a few, but we did want to take some opportunities to get some Dassies this afternoon, just because there are so many here. Yaku's taken us to a new spot, purely vertical cliff face. We've parked off the truck over here where it actually gives us some shade. The sun's behind us now. It also means we can stay nice and cool. The only problem is it's so steep here that trying to get any sort of shooting position, well, this is now close to 45 degrees. I'd say maybe even a little bit more. I think we've got 3 Dassies down, so very happy with that.
Once again, the retrieval is a little bit nerve-wracking. One slip on these rocks can be fatal, but Yaku navigates it well, and we're able to bring home the bacon. These will be taken back to the farmhouse and eaten. This is a few kilograms of good meat right here. And it's not quite over yet, as we spot a monkey around 115 meters away. I missed the first shot, but correct my wind hold pretty quickly and nail him on the second.
Dead. Monkeys. Best animals to hunt with an air rifle. Monkey showed up 115 meters, 3.3 mils. Missed once or twice because of the wind. Ended up nailing him. So that's a great way to wrap things up. I'd say we're probably going to chill a little bit for the rest of the day because we've got some plans tonight. We want to be fresh. I think let's start making our way back to camp slowly and winding down for the day, shall we? Let there be shade. So we are anxiously waiting for the sun to go behind these mountains and cast some shade so we can actually just relax a bit this afternoon. It's very hot right now, it's about 35 degrees Celsius. We've got the pulsar thermion. We're going to mount it on my impact, zero it somewhere around here on a steel plate or a rock or something. We'll figure out how to do that, and then we'll take it out to down and see if we can get. But we really need to rest before then because we're only going to leave here around 9:30 or 10, so it's going to be a late night.
After a power nap in the Easy On rooftop tent, our portable home for the week, we wake up to refreshingly cool temperatures and prepare for a relaxed evening around the fire while we bide our time and wait for the thermal hunt ahead. In the next episode, we'll be continuing where we left off on this one, as we head out with the thermal in search of hares. We'll also be seeing some really cool animal sightings along the way, as the valley comes alive with kudu, jackals, and even a group of bat-eared foxes looking for insects with their giant ears. Make sure you subscribe to stay notified, and we'll see you then.
Yes, he's heavy. It's probably 5 kilograms.
Yes,
it's a big one.